All right, Danny, thank you so much for joining us today on FightHype to talk about your July 30th fight on Showtime against Jose Benavidez Jr. The move to 154, very interesting move. I mean, obviously you get bigger as you get older. In addition to that, you still are one hell of a boxer. What are your feelings about, your level of success at 154? Can you be a world champion in this division, and why?
Yeah, I feel like I can do anything I put my mind to. If I believe and I put the hard work in and I believe, I know I can do it. And right now I feel confident. Just like I did it at 140, I did it at 147. I know I can do it at 154. Because with hard work and belief, anything's possible.
Is it, am I right that, the weight gain is kind of like linked to you getting older? Are you just more comfortable at that weight? Are you convinced that you're going to be the best fighter possible at that weight?
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel great. Like I said, I feel like I haven't lost a step. I feel better. I feel better knowing I can go in the gym and work on things and just having fun. I think that's the most important thing about boxing is just you gotta enjoy it. You gotta enjoy it. And when you feel like you're not having fun, then that's when you probably have to take a break and that's when you got to stop. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. That's the most important thing.
That's a great point. I want to get into that a little bit more with you, but I wanted to ask you first about Jose Benavidez and the challenge of him. I mean, look, one loss on his record, but it's against Terence Crawford, and a lot of people who saw that fight said that Jose had his moments. I know he's got this leg injury from that gunshot, but he's not a diminished fighter from what we've seen in the ring. What are your thoughts on his talent and how tough of a test he is going to be for you?
Yeah, we want to fight. We want to fight all the tough challenges. So he's a tough challenger, and that's what we want. We want to fight the tough guys, bring out the best in us, and that's why we chose him.
What are your hopes for this? I mean, what have any promises been made to you? Obviously, you have a great name, former two-division champion. PBC, Showtime obviously think highly of you. Barclays Center loves you. Is there a possibility that you'll go right from this fight into a possible title shot against Jermell Charlo next?
I don't know. I don't know. We didn't speak that far yet, but I know that the goal is to become a champion, and I know that it's not a hard fight to make. So right now we're just focused on Benavidez. We didn't speak really on the future because the future is Benavidez for now. So
Yeah.
just got to make sure that we handle that business, and then we can get into those talks.
Yeah, you certainly have to pay attention to Benavidez, but as you look at this situation with Jermell, the great thing is that he's undisputed champion at 154 pounds. The hard thing is that these sanctioning bodies are going to be coming at him for all these mandatories, and what will happen with the scheduling of that? Maybe one of those titles becomes vacant, and you can strike into that situation as well. So, I mean, a lot of opportunity. Did you consider that?
Boxing does change quick. From being in the sport, boxing changes quick. Like you said, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. I can't really worry about that because I know there's a lot of possibilities, but I really don't know.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens. First, you got to win, right?
Exactly.
I think, Danny, the great thing about where you are in the sport, I mean, if you think about when you started in the sport and where you are now, you are the perfect example that losses in this sport are no longer a death sentence, right? I mean, you have participated. You've basically taken on all comers. A couple of those fights didn't go your way. But here you are in a main event on Showtime, like we said, headlining a Barclays Center card. These people want you in their fights. And, can you elaborate on that? Are you happy that I know you're not happy that you lost, but are you happy that that's the way the sport is now?
I feel like the sport's always been like that, to be honest. Like, if you go back to the Duran days, even Ali, if you go back to Oscar De La Hoya days, the fans, they just want to see a good fight. The fans want to see a good fight, a good matchup, and they want to see a fight, and that's what I bring to the table. You know what I mean? I give you a good fight, I give you a good show, and I fight do that and build a fan base, and at the same time, then you're good.
Yeah.
And that was my one of my dreams was to fight the best and be the best. So, and I'm here.
Let me ask you a couple of questions following up on that. You know, those defeats that you've had, and we're talking about, you know, some great fights, including the one against Errol Spence, who's reigning as champion right now. What have you gained most from those defeats? What have you gained from being through those wars?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't feel good losing. So it does, like, it kind of puts like a scar on your heart that no one can see. It's one of those type of things. Like, but you know who you are as a person. You learn outside of the ring who you really are. You know what I mean? Because it's really hard to separate when you put so much work into the boxing. When you put so much dedication in a fight, you don't win a fight. It's kind of like you gotta learn how to separate the two because it can ruin your personal life. You always be thinking about, man, I could have did this, could have did that. So I think it really showed me who I was outside of the ring. You know, I had to learn how to separate the two because no great fighter wants to lose.
Yeah.
Hate losing. So you just got to learn how to live with it, I guess.
How did you deal with the other part of it where, you know, PBC has always, you know, they put you in these great fights and you've earned a lot of money. Do the purses at all diminish your passion for the sport? How do you set aside the comfort of the money that you've earned and say, look, I know I still need to be, you know, a gangster in very rugged sport, right?
Right. Yeah, this is a hungry man's sport.
Uh-huh.
Boxing's a poor man's sport. You ain't gonna fight if you're born with a silver spoon.
Right.
And if you are, you're just a special guy. But you know, that's why I train in Philly. I train in Philly because I train in my old neighborhood where I grew up every day. And this reminds me of why I work so hard. You know, so I could easily be training in Miami with beautiful palm trees, and it is beautiful down there, but it's not like running through the city of Philly to Rocky Balboa. Changes your mindset. And I just love the sport, you know? I got passion for it. I got a passion for it, and it's going to be hard to let go when it's all said and done, but, right, I'm still here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so do you feel like you've got reinvigorated with this challenge of trying to be a champion at 154? I mean, we know, you know, the greatest fighters of all time are 3 division champions and plus, you know, that's special territory. That's Hall of Fame territory.
Yeah, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I want to be in that territory. So this is what I got to do it. This is the challenge I got to take. This is the risk I got to take. So it's time to do it.
I love it. Before I let you go, Danny, obviously you have so much knowledge about the welterweight division, and there's, you know, we know that there's some talks in play right now for Errol Spence Jr. to fight Terence Crawford. What are your thoughts on that fight? How would you see that fight going?
I think it's a great fight. 50-50 fight. Like I said before in other interviews, both guys are skilled. Both guys are hungry. Both guys want that win. I think it's going to be a lot of momentum changes in that fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. Both guys really want it. So I think it's kind of going to be like, it's going to be, both guys are going to try to box and fight a disciplined fight, but I think there's going to be some exchanges in that fight, heavy exchanges.
Yeah, I wanted you to elaborate on that real quick, because I think as I look at it, and I think so as some of the boxing fans look at it, you know, Terence Crawford is a real savage. He's got that, you know, hellacious, you know, attitude, and he really is one of the greatest finishers in the sport. Talk about Errol Spence's savageness, though. I mean, you've seen that in the ring. How much of a badass is he when he's in there and the fists are flying?
Yeah, he's mentally strong, and he's one of those type of fighters you got to be in your best shape, because he fights the same. He comes out every round and throws 100 punches straight through. So if you're not in shape for that, then he's going to break you down and knock you out like he's done to a lot of his opponents. But, you know, I'm a top fighter too, so I know what it takes. I'm mentally strong. I'm just like him. So we're both in there and banging it out, you know. And but like in Terence Crawford, like you said, he has that mean attitude.
Yeah.
Like someone stole something from his mom. Like he carries that attitude. And he's hungry. Like he really loves history. He really wants to be unified again in another weight class. So it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a it's gonna be a battle.
Well, yeah, all you need to do, Danny, is win on July 30th, and you're right back in the mix. You're going to be able to talk about all these guys. And look, you may see one of those
Yes,
guys
sir.
again at
For
154.
sure.
So
For sure, because it's definitely coming up. But like I said, one fight at a time.
great. Thank you so much for your time today, Danny. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your time in Philly. Keep up the good work, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, anytime.